Welcome everybody to the KaveMan Aquatics live stream. Welcome back. Thank you for being here, everybody. Right off the bat, you guys know what I like to do. Give me a thumbs up in the chat if I look good and I sound good. I want to confirm that before we keep going. But welcome everybody to the stream. This should be a good one. I kind of worked out all the gremlins that we had last week. I see the thumbs up. Thank you, my guys. Thank you. Hopefully we have no gremlins this week and everything goes smooth. I can't promise you that, but I'm glad you guys are here and we're going to try it together. So first of all, let me shout out all you early bird guys that have been here super early. I'm going to scroll to the top of the chat. I'm going to the top of the chat. My man Patrick was here right away. Thank you, Patrick, for being here so early. Tank Boss 59. I like that name. Sounds familiar. I like that name. Welcome, bro. Aaron has been here. First live stream for Aaron. Thank you for coming, bro. My man John has been here nice and early. Kush S has been here nice and early. I love you early birds that get here early and shout so I can shout you guys out. Who else has been here? Let me see who else is here. David, my man David. Thank you for coming, bro. Patrick, PB Aquatics. Glad to meet you at Aquashella, bro. Thank you for coming to the stream. Who else is here? Let me scroll. I see the same guys all the way on top. There was only a few guys that got here super early and they were chatting it up by themselves. I love it. Kiana's from Florida in the building. Welcome, Kiana. That guy Mike, welcome, bro. Jason Alonzo, John Rivera. Let's see who else got here early. Corin Gilkis, welcome, bro. From Miramar, Florida. Top Gun, baby. I love Miramar. Nice, John Rivera. Okay, guys, I see a lot of guys were here nice and early chatting it up. Christian Schwartz, Shoaib, Shake. I'm sorry if I'm saying that wrong, bro, but welcome. Glad you're here. Let's see. Also, I want to welcome everybody that's here watching the replay right now. Make sure that you guys leave a comment in the comment section. Hashtag replay squad and tell me where you're from. That way, after the stream, I could go in the comments and thank you for being here too. So welcome. Okay, guys, let me first introduce something for you new guys that have never seen the channel before. Maybe you're brand new. Maybe this is your first stream. If that is the case, welcome. I'm glad you guys are here. Let me first introduce to you my 150-gallon American Cichlid tank. There's a little bit of glare going on, guys. I apologize for that. I try my best to get it as clear as possible. This is my 150-gallon American Cichlid tank. I got a green terror in there. I've got some Severums in there. A couple of Oscars. I have a Tiger Oscar and 2 albino Oscars. There's an arowana in there. He's up there in the top floating around. A green terror. I also have electric blue Acaras and even an electric blue Jack Dempsey is in there somewhere. You'll see him. He'll make an appearance later on. He'll be around. And I also have my 210-gallon African Cichlid tank, guys. This is my peacock and hap tank, full of all different species. I don't think I have any multiple species in there. Maybe one of that's a double species. A lot of OBs, a couple of frontosas are in there as well. Everybody doing great in the African Cichlid tank. Those are my 2 big tanks, guys. Let's keep it moving. Now, the next thing I want to talk to you guys about. I see the chat is moving. I love it. The next thing I want to talk to you guys is something that we kind of messed up last week, but I'm hoping that I fixed it this week. So, at the end of the live stream, we're going to do this at the end of the live stream so we don't mess with the Q&A part of it. I want to make sure that you guys get your questions in and I can help as best as I can. So at the end of the live stream, guys, I am going to do a free giveaway. The way that you enter this free giveaway is by spending your KaveMan points, which you all should be accumulating right now. And I just saw the bot did post something in the chat. So it looks like it's working, guys. It looks like it's working well. Right now, everyone is accumulating points. Every 5 minutes that you're here in the stream with us, you're earning 10 points. On top of any type of engagement that you do. If you comment in the chat, you earn points. If you subscribe, you earn points. Become a member, super chat, anything that you do in the chat during the stream is going to earn you some points. And then at the end of the live stream, guys, we're going to hold a giveaway. And depending on how many points you have, you could purchase that many tickets. And then we're going to have one winner. And I don't know what it is yet. We'll decide later on. It's either going to be a t-shirt or a hoodie. Depends where you are. Depends what you guys want. We'll see how it goes. But so far, it seems like the points are working. So real quick, we're not gonna hang out in this area for too long. Real quick, guys, you can write in the chat exclamation point points, and that is going to show you how many points you currently have. But let me say this real quick. Once you do that command, you will not be able to do it again for another 5 minutes. The purpose of this is so that the chat is not bombarded with everyone checking their points all at the same time, and then it just becomes spam, okay? So you can check that out at any time you want, and the bot should reply to you and tell you how many points you have, okay? That's the giveaway that we're going to do. Let's move on. Got it. Got that. So, okay, chat's still moving. Welcome everybody who just jumped in here. Welcome. So, today's topic, guys, is going to be about the beginner. I see someone did use points. I don't want to hang out, but we'll see what the bot does. We'll see if it sticks around and replies to people and tells everybody their points. It's the other way, 09 Music Man. It's exclamation point first and then points. Try that, see if it works. Super chat's on fire. Just super chat. Oh, I got it. Okay, so the bot's working pretty good, guys. That's a good thing. So let's jump into the topic. Today's topic is going to be for beginners entering the hobby. I'm going to bring it right back down to basic level. I know a lot of you guys are going to know a lot of this stuff already, but bear with us. We were all beginners at one point. If you do know the information that I'm giving out, just be active in the chat with the guys that might be asking questions while I'm going through the topic and help them out. We're all helpful here on the KaveMan live stream. I know for a fact we have a bunch of knowledgeable guys that are here in the live stream with us. So ask away. All right, guys, we're going to get going. The first thing that you need to worry about when you're entering the hobby is your research. Number one thing you need to worry about is research. Now, I know when I say research, a lot of people go, blah, blah. Research. Yes, it does matter, guys, because it depends what kind of fish you want to keep. Certain fish need certain things. Certain fish need certain tank sizes, certain type of decor, certain type of water parameters, certain type of tank mates. Not every fish can go with every fish. So I know that a lot of us just walk into the pet store and we spontaneously say, okay, today's the day I'm buying that tank. And then we just buy it. I'm guilty of it too, guys. So I don't judge anybody at all. But research is important because you're going to spend a lot of money or waste a lot of money if you don't do things right in the beginning. And you could possibly end up killing all your fish anyway. You're just going to waste more money on that also. But I give you credit because at least you're here. So even if you went ahead and got a little impulsive and you went and bought all the stuff already, you're here on this live stream that's going to be helpful for beginners. I count that as research. I give you credit for that. Bing. Good job. Here. You're here. Okay. Next thing we need to worry about, guys, is tanks. When you are searching for a tank, I'm going to say this and try to hammer this home, guys. We, as beginners, tend to try to be safe and go get something really small. A 10-gallon, a 20-gallon, something like that. We spend a lot of money. We buy a stand for it. We buy all the stuff for it. And what happens in this hobby, guys, and I know a bunch of you guys in the chat will understand what I'm going to say. If you understand what I'm going to say right now, give me a thumbs up in the chat. What happens in this hobby is that you quickly want to upgrade that tank. So one of two things happens. Either you end up getting rid of that original tank that you had and you upgrade right away, or you end up keeping both tanks. And this is the beginning of something that we call MTS, which stands for multi-tank syndrome. It's a big disease in this hobby, and a lot of us that keep tanks, look at the chat, guys. Check the chat out. A lot of guys in this hobby know the feeling. It happens to us all. So because of that reason is why I'm going to tell you right now that when you go look for a tank, you want to get the biggest tank that your space and your budget allows for right now. Do it right now. Don't get that small itty bitty. Now, I take that back for a second. Unless you're into like nano tanks. If you're into small tanks and you know that that's what you like, okay, that's a different story. But I'm just talking in general as you going into the hobby and starting out and deciding, let me start with this small tank because it's safer. First of all, it's not really that much safer. I can attest right now, and so can everybody else in the chat, that it is easier to maintain proper water parameters in a bigger tank than it is in a smaller tank. When you got a smaller volume of water, your swings are going to happen much more frequently. It's easy for spikes to happen in a smaller volume of water. When you got a bigger volume of water, less swings. So easier to maintain the water parameters. That's one thing. Now, I know what you're thinking. Well, I don't want to go too big because what if this is not really for me and I'm just trying it out? Okay, understandable. Happens to the best of us. When people come into this hobby, there's two type of people. The first type are the people that become lifers and they keep tanks forever, which is most of us, because that's what happens to most of us, and we end up getting multiple tanks. And the other type of people are people that it just doesn't work for them. They're not into the maintenance. They're not into keeping their tanks clean or whatever it is. It just didn't work out for them. So then they want to quit. And that's okay too, because this hobby is not for everybody. It does require work. It does require money. So some people get in and they want to get out. Still totally fine. Even if you did go ahead and purchase a big tank, you can easily get rid of that tank by selling it on the used market. Yes, you are going to take a little bit of a hit. Obviously, you're not going to get the same exact money as you paid when you got it brand new, but you're not going to have a problem getting rid of it. You could put your used tank and your used filters and all your used stuff on Facebook Marketplace, on Craigslist, on OfferUp, all these apps that sell used stuff. There is always a hobbyist in the market for another tank or for a used tank at a little bit of a discount. So you're not going to have any problems getting rid of it. So if it's safe either way, then go ahead. Trust me, go ahead and get the biggest tank you can right now for your space and for your budget. Do it now. You'll thank me later. Trust me. Okay, let's move on to, now that you got your tank, next thing you got to worry about is your substrate. There's mainly two types of substrate going on in the hobby, which is gravel and sand. And both of them have their pros and their cons. So we'll start with gravel. If you want to go with gravel, and this is one of the reasons why the first step is research, because your fish may prefer gravel or your fish may prefer sand. So that's why you got to know what you're working with. Now, gravel is good for hiding a lot of waste and detritus. When your fish poop or there's uneaten food hanging out in your tank, it's going to sink in between the rocks of the gravel. It's going to sink down underneath of it, and it'll be at the bottom of your tank, and you hardly won't even see it that much. So that's kind of a benefit to keeping your tank looking clean. That doesn't mean your tank is clean. It means that it's looking clean. And then when you are doing your maintenance, it's very easy to get it out. While you vacuum, you take your tube and you push it down all the way through the gravel, and you'll see all that dirt get sucked right up the tube. Not a problem, right? The negative of gravel is that some fish don't like gravel. Some fish prefer sand. I had another negative to it, but I can't think of it right now. But gravel is more, I would say, kind of like a beginner type of thing. Usually beginners just assume gravel is the best thing because they're a little bit scared of sand. They're worried about sand for I don't really understand the reasons, but we're going to cover sand now. So with sand, the difference is you are going to see an accumulation of waste and detritus right on the surface of your sand. But you may think, oh, well, I don't want my tank looking dirty like that. But it's actually a great indication to let you know that your tank needs some maintenance. When that stuff starts to pile up, it's letting you know, okay, time to do some maintenance, because you don't want that stuff hanging out in your tank anyway. It's good to vacuum it and get it out. Vacuuming sand is actually very easy. You just got to have a little bit more finesse. You just want to hover the tube on the surface of the sand, not dig into it, because obviously the sand will pull up. But if you hover over the surface of the sand, it will grab all the poop and waste, and you can vacuum that way. Another major benefit of sand, I just remembered the other con of gravel. And it has to do with the benefit of sand. Because sand is so fine and dense, and the waste cannot get in between it and get under it, you're creating an anoxic environment, an environment with very low oxygen underneath your sand. Now, while gravel and sand are both going to grow beneficial bacteria on the surfaces of them, sand is going to be able to grow anaerobic bacteria underneath the sand. Anaerobic bacteria is beneficial bacteria that help in reducing nitrates. And if you don't know about nitrates or the nitrogen cycle, don't worry about it. We'll get into it in a little bit later. Not in full detail, because that will take a whole live stream just about that topic, but I'll get into it more later. With gravel, it's a little less likely that you're able to grow anaerobic bacteria underneath the gravel, because you still get a lot of oxygenated water underneath the gravel. With sand, you don't. So that's the benefit of sand and a con of gravel. So research your fish, find out what they like best, and then decide what you like best as far as your maintenance and your stuff, and pick your substrate. Next thing we're going to worry about, wash and rinse. Okay, lights. When it comes to lights, guys, it's fairly simple. This is not a big, huge topic. When you start brand new in the hobby, don't go crazy. Don't go buy those $100, $200, $300 lights right off the bat, because it's not necessary, especially when you're a beginner. I say that even though I have those kind of lights, but you don't want to spend that much money when you're a beginner, because you got other things to spend money on. So you can go ahead and get yourself a no-name brand, cheap light off of Amazon. Doesn't cost that much money, and it's going to get the job done. And the reason why I say it's going to get the job done is because there is no job really for light. Your fish don't need light. Light in your tank actually causes problems. Too much light in your tank will make your tank look cloudy and dirty. It could cause algae blooms, and you'll start to grow algae in your tank if you leave it on too long. So the light is really only for us, the hobbyists, so that we can see and enjoy our fish. The fish don't need the light, okay? So I usually recommend that you keep your light on for about 8 hours or less. Any more than that, you're gonna start to have problems. That's lights for you guys. Next one is gonna be filters. If you're new to the hobby, it's usually very simple to go ahead and get an HOB filter. That's a hang-on back filter that literally hangs on the back of your tank, and you can service it right over the top of your tank. It's super easy to maintain it, to clean it, to make sure it's working right. That's the go-to filter for beginners in the hobby, is the HOB. And I recommend that you start that way. When you feel that it's time to upgrade to a better filter, either because you upgraded tanks, or you know you're adding now so many fish into your tank that your HOB isn't strong enough to handle the bioload going on in your tank, then you might want to upgrade to a canister filter. And I can tell you right now that right off the bat, canister filters feel very intimidating, but they don't have to be. They're not anything special. They're not anything crazy. Very simple to figure out. You know, when you attach your hoses to your tank, you put your media the right way inside of a canister, and it gets the job done. It actually requires a lot less maintenance than an HOB. You don't have to go into it as often as you would an HOB. So don't be scared to decide to upgrade to a canister. A canister is going to provide better filtration, and you don't have nothing to worry about. But stick with an HOB to start with, and you'll be good to go as well. Another type of filter, before I move on, just to mention it, is sumps. Those of you that don't know about sumps, it's basically another entire tank underneath your tank with a full volume of water. This is not recommended for beginners. It's an advanced type of filtration. You have to set it up the right way. It's an open system, so you have more possibilities that a flood may occur, and nobody wants that, especially when they're brand new in the hobby. Nobody wants to deal with that. But I just had to mention it so you guys know about it. Next thing we're going to talk about is something that a lot of beginners miss. Before that, I didn't even write that down. Guys, don't forget your heaters. You may think that your ambient temperature in the room is warm enough for fish, but again, this goes back to researching your fish. Most tropical fish require a temperature that's a little bit warmer than the temperature in your place, in your house. So heaters are required for those fish. If you keep certain fish like African cichlids over here, these guys require even higher temperatures. So you need to know that if you decided to choose these kind of fish, that they require higher temperatures. So you need to get an equivalent heater that will bring the water to that temperature. One thing about heaters is that I will say that usually when you get a big tank, you want to have a redundant safety system. Heaters are an electrical component that can go bad, and usually when heaters go bad, a lot of bad things happen. They can either stay stuck in the on position and overheat your tank, or they can just stop working and then the temperature drops in your tank. And if you have fish that require higher temps, that's going to be detrimental to them as well. So I always suggest that you go with 2 heaters at about half the power so that both of them work together. They're not both overly working. You know, if you have only one and it goes up to 80 or 90 degrees, you don't want it at that maximum wattage that the one heater can do. More of a chance that it can burst or break sooner rather than later. I'd rather you get 2 heaters and work them at like 50% power to get to the temperature that you need in your tank. That way both heaters can live a little bit longer, if you know what I'm saying. You understand? It's a little safety thing that I like to suggest to everybody. Now, the one that everybody always misses and they're just not aware of it, and it's super important, is aerating your tank. Your tanks, your fish need oxygen. They breathe oxygen underwater. They take the oxygen molecule out of the water, and that's how they breathe underwater. So you've got to oxygenate your tank. The way you do this is with surface agitation. You could either, your HOB supplies that a little bit. As water comes into the tank and splashes on the surface, that splash, that wave that is made on the surface, you can see it in the African tank right there in the top right corner. You see the waves that are going on up there? Those waves are creating surface agitation, which allows for oxygen transfer. CO2 is going out of the tank and oxygen is going into the tank. That's what you want. You have to make sure your tanks are properly aerated to make sure all your fish get enough oxygen. If you ever see that your fish are hanging out at the top of the tank and breathing real heavy, mouths opening and closing really fast, really heavy, it's probably due to a lack of oxygen in the tank. One way you can do it is with a wave maker, which I have in that far right corner, pointed up at the surface. The wave maker will push the water and create those waves in the surface. And another way you can do it is with an air stone or a sponge filter. When you see those bubbles coming out of a tank, I think, let me see if I caught it in my American. There you go. See all the bubbles on the right-hand side of the American cichlid tank? All those bubbles. Now, that's not where the oxygen is. The bubbles are rising to the top and popping at the surface. When they pop at the surface, that's what is allowing oxygen to enter the tank. So you got to make sure that you got proper aeration in your tanks. And very, very important, guys, this is something that you want to have a backup going on for your tank. If you ever lose power for whatever reason, any reason at all, your filters are going to turn off. Whatever you have for aeration is going to turn off. Your heaters are going to turn off. Your lights are going to turn off. Obviously, right? No power. Nothing going on in the tank. But the fish are still in there swimming around, consuming everything in the tank, right? The first thing that is going to kill your fish is a lack of oxygen in the tank. That's the first thing they're going to die from. So for that reason is why I always suggest that you have a battery backup, an air pump that runs off of batteries always available, either in your closet somewhere, ready to be taken out with fresh batteries so you can put it onto your tank. Or it's even better if you have an automatic backup system so that if power were to go out while you were not home or while you were asleep and you didn't realize power went out, this automatic battery backup is going to kickstart on its own and make sure that the tank remains oxygenated until you get home or until you wake up, and then you can handle the situation. Very, very important, guys. I've heard way too many stories of power outages causing all the fish to die because of lack of oxygen. Okay, let's keep moving on. Next thing you want to do, let's get to the fun part, right? You're going to want to decorate your tank. So when you buy your decor, okay, most beginners, how can I say this nicely, guys? I want to say this nicely. Most beginners go and buy, you know, that SpongeBob house or the weird looking pirate ship, or, you know, beginners buy stuff that kind of looks pretty, if you know what I mean. And sometimes it makes it a dead giveaway that you're a beginner in the hobby, because that's what beginners do. But you're buying decor that is not necessarily what your fish want or what your fish need. Depending on your type of fish, go back to step number 1, the research. depending on your type of fish, is what's going to determine what kind of decor is best for them. Is it rocks? Is it wood? Is it plants? Do you need a whole bunch of decor all over the place so they can hide in between stuff? Or do you need more open water swimming area? It depends on your type of fish, which is why you want to research before you go buying decor. So make sure you buy the right stuff so you don't look like a total beginner. Okay? I gave you fair warning. Okay, next one we're going to talk about, obviously, now you should be ready to add water into your tank. But before adding water, you need to understand that there's chlorine in your tap water. The chlorine in your tap water, guys, is not safe for your fish, is not safe for any of the living organisms inside your tank. Be that plants, be that fish, or be that your beneficial bacteria. That chlorine can kill all of those things. So for that reason is why you always want to use a water conditioner to remove that chlorine from your tap water before you put it into your tank. You could also add the water conditioner directly to your tank and then add the tap water. That works as well. I usually suggest Prime because Prime not only dechlorinates the water, but it also detoxifies inorganic, harmful products, byproducts that are in your tank. We'll get into that. It does both those things, so you cover all your bases with Prime. It also removes heavy metals that might be in your tap water, which are detrimental to your fish as well. So Prime is usually my go-to, and I recommend to everybody. It's a great product. Try it out. Now that we're adding water into our tanks, guys, we got to talk about the nitrogen cycle. I'm not going to get too crazy here. I'm not going to go too deep into it because it's a humongous topic. I'm going to give you the bare basics, quick, simple, and easy. I know you guys like that, right? I'm going to get to the point. So the nitrogen cycle is what happens when your fish are in the water. Your fish are consuming all the food in the water, and they're also breathing the oxygen in the water. So what happens is when your fish eat and they poop, that poop will deteriorate and create ammonia in your tank. Ammonia is very deadly to your fish. You cannot have ammonia in your tank. Any amounts of ammonia in your tank will kill your fish. So how do we get rid of the ammonia? This is what we're talking about, the nitrogen cycle. When there's ammonia in your tank, beneficial bacteria begin to grow. You need a food source for them, which is the ammonia. Sorry about that. And you need to make sure you have an oxygenated tank. So with oxygen, a food source, and any surface area inside your tank, your substrate, your decor, your glass, inside your filter, any place that there's surface area, your beneficial bacteria are going to attach themselves to it and begin to grow, and they're going to eat that ammonia. When they eat that ammonia, they also create waste. Their waste is then converted into nitrite with an I. That nitrite is also deadly to your fish. You do not want any nitrite in your tank either. Now, another form of beneficial bacteria grow, and what they eat is nitrite. So they're going to consume the nitrite in your tank, and now they have to create waste as well, right? Well, their waste is nitrate. Nitrate is the final product of the nitrogen cycle, and unless we have that anaerobic bacteria that we talked about earlier, that's the type of bacteria that's going to reduce the nitrates in your tank, which they are very difficult to grow in a tank. Most of us do not have nitrates in our do not have anaerobic bacteria in our tanks. A tank needs to be very, very mature, a year or more, to start growing anaerobic bacteria under the substrate. Or if you have, I'm not going to say biomedia right now that can do it, because I'm actually running a test right now on some biomedia. But normally in our tanks, when we have nitrates, the way that we get them out is with water changes. This is why we do water changes. At this point, you need to remove the water from your tank so that you can dilute the nitrates that are remaining in your tank. When you add fresh water that do not have any nitrates in it, you're going to dilute the nitrates that was left in the tank. This is how we reduce them. That, and the only other thing is live plants. Live plants also consume nitrates. So if your fish can live with live plants without eating them or destroying them or uprooting them, live plants is also great at reducing your nitrates. So that's the quick and dirty on the nitrogen cycle. You need to understand this cycle that's going on in your tank, and you need to always test your water, especially in the beginning when you're cycling your tank, when you're setting up your tank. You need to make sure that the tank is cycled before you put fish in the tank. If not, the moment they create ammonia, if there isn't any beneficial bacteria in the tank to convert that ammonia, the ammonia is going to kill them. Now, I know a lot of you guys know what I'm about to say. With that being said, there are products that we have today that can help us in keeping the water safe while we add fish to an uncycled tank. The tank can get cycled at the same time as we have fish in the tank. Those two products are Prime and Stability. Prime, like I said earlier, is going to detoxify the ammonia, the nitrite, and even the nitrate as well, making the water completely safe for the fish, but it's still going to leave the ammonia, nitrite, and nitrate in the tank. It's not removing it from the tank, it's just detoxifying it. Now, the water's safe for your fish. Stability is bacteria in a bottle. When you add stability to your tank, you're going to boost the production of that beneficial bacteria. You're going to speed up the life cycle of bacteria so that they grow faster, so that they're in the tank to start consuming the ammonia and the nitrite. If you do this method, I have tons of videos on this whole thing with more detail. Go check the videos out if you want to try. This is called the fish in cycle. Can be done with Prime and Stability. Okay, guys? I tried to make the nitrogen cycle as quick as possible. Let's go to the next one. I mentioned it already, but it's using a master test kit. The API master test kit, in my opinion, is one of the best on the market for testing ammonia, nitrite, nitrate. It also tests your pH low and your pH high. Does it test anything else? I hope I'm not missing something. But you definitely, absolutely want to get a test kit. When you're a beginner starting in this hobby, you need to be able to test your water. You need to understand how to test your water, and you need to understand what's going on in your tank. Because if not, you'll keep dosing Prime and Stability every day forever. You'll never know when to stop. You'll never know when your tank is cycled. Or if you're doing the regular old school way of waiting for your tank to cycle, you'll never know when it's completed. So I have full, complete videos on how to use the API Master Test Kit. All you got to do is search it up. I'm sure it'll pop up on top. And make sure you understand how to use the test kit and get used to using it, especially in the beginning stages of your hobby. After a while, when you get a little bit more comfortable, when your tank starts to get mature, your testing starts to decrease a little bit. You don't need to test all the time for everything. You'll start to understand how fast your nitrates reach in your tank, and you'll know what your water change schedule will be after a while. This comes with time and with experience. Okay. Last but not least, I know we talked about it before, but once you got your water in there, once you got your tank cycled and everything is ready, now's the time to add your fish, right? Obviously, time for fish. But back to step number one, the research part of it, certain fish need to be added to a tank a certain way. Some fish, you could just throw them in there with everybody else, no problem. Everything's still all good. Other fish, you can't do that, because if they are aggressive, or if there's other fish in the tank that do not, they don't mesh well with your fish you're putting in there, you might create problems. So you need to do that research on the fish that you're adding into the tank when you already have fish in the tank, to make sure that you're not going to get any problems when you add that new fish. Okay, guys? I know that I cannot cover the entire beginner topic all in one live stream. This is impossible to cover it all, but now we're about to get into the Q&A part. So if I missed something or something confused you a little bit during the Q&A, ask me and I'll do my best to be a little bit more clear. Okay, guys? All right, that's the topic. Now, before we go into, let me see what I got here. Nope. Get into nope. Guys, is anybody checking their points? I haven't seen if anybody got any points. I do see the bot kind of working, popping in and out here. Okay. Oh, yeah. People are checking their points. Good. I like it. So it's working. Cool, cool, cool. Okay. Before we get into the Q&A, guys, let me real quick mention some stuff that I have available for you guys if you need the help. If you're a beginner in the hobby or a veteran and you're having problems getting crystal clear water, Your water's always cloudy. You know that you can get it a little bit more clearer. There's tons of things that can be causing your water to be cloudy. Everybody asks me all these questions all the time, and it takes super long to get all the details about your tank and try to figure out what it is that you're doing that's causing the cloudy water. So I got proactive, guys, and I put it all in one place. I made an ebook and a paperback book that has all the reasons why your tank gets cloudy and all the solutions to solve that problem. They're all in the book. It's a $5 ebook and a $10 paperback book. If you don't find it helpful, ask me for a refund and I will gladly send your money back. But guess what? I am not lying right here, guys, when I tell you I have not refunded a single person any money from this book. Not because I don't want to, it's because no one has requested it. So check the book out. It's going to be helpful for you. Last but not least, guys, is the membership that we have here in the channel. Every 2 weeks, we do a live stream just like this, but it's a members only live stream. Very small group of us. We get together twice a month and I help everybody out. I get to answer every single question because there's a small group of us, so I don't miss any question. We engage with each other in the chat. It's super cool and super fun. And you also get a bunch of other perks like emojis. You get to see extra footage that nobody gets to see. And it's the best way to support the channel. If you wanted to support, check out the membership. All right, guys? Q&A time. Let's go. Let's go. The fun part, guys. The part everybody likes. I did see a couple super chats come in, guys. I'm sorry that I missed them during the topic, but I want to focus on the topic so I don't jump around all over the place. But we're going to get into the Q&A right now. I see General 51. Welcome, bro. I see you trying to enter the raffle already. There's no raffle yet, bro. So hold your horses. Okay, let's go. Let's start at the bottom. I'm going to go all the way to the bottom and start the questions from there. But if I miss your question, I apologize in advance. Sometimes this thing jumps all over the place on me and I got to start from the bottom. So if that happens, go ahead, ask your question again. No worries. Bigger is better. Welcome, bro. Thank you for coming. Steve, you're mad you forgot, but you're here, bro. That's bigger is better. Don't be mad. You're here. Don't worry about it. Okay, Juan S says my fish are dying and I don't know why. I can't help you if you don't give me some details, bro. Okay, the bot seems to be working pretty good, guys. I'm liking it. Okay, Pie the Fighter says, do I keep adding stability after it's been 7 days if I'm still seeing ammonia and nitrite? Yes, very good question. Sometimes it'll take more than 7 days. So what I suggest to everybody is you need to test your nitrates. Don't worry about testing anything else while you're doing the prime stability to get your tank cycled. You want to test nitrate. When your tank reaches about 40 parts per million of nitrate, that's when you want to do your first water change. No water changes before that. Because when you do water changes, you're actually removing the ammonia and the nitrite that your bacteria need. They want it in the tank so that they can eat it and grow. So don't do any water changes. When you reach 40 parts per million of nitrate, first water change and then test for everything. If you still have ammonia and nitrite like you just mentioned, then yes, you want to continue prime and stability daily again until you reach the next 40 parts per million of nitrate. Great question. So the chat was moving, and now let me see if I find where I was. That was Pie the Fighter. Great question, bro. Okay, Joshua Escobales. Joshua says, I started my tank 2 weeks ago for the nitrogen cycle with fish in it. Okay, but my nitrate did not hit 40 parts per million at the end of the second week. Then your tank isn't cycled yet. If you're not reaching 40 parts per million, you don't have enough beneficial bacteria in the tank to convert it to nitrate. So you definitely want to continue prime and stability. If you already have fish in, keep on doing it until you reach 40 parts per million of nitrate. Switch it up for you guys. Let me see. Let's see where we're going next. Afiz. I like the sticker, bro. Jamon 5000 says, how important is it to test GH and pH? First, it kind of depends on your fish, right? If you have fish that require high pH and your source water is low pH, then you're going to want to be testing your pH. When it comes to GH, I don't really mess with that too much, probably because I don't understand it all that well, to be honest with you. But usually if you keep track of your pH, your KH and your GH will move together with your pH. So focus more on your pH. And that's if you have a difference of what your fish need and what your source water is. If what your fish need is the same as your source water, then you really don't have to worry about it too much. John, welcome, bro. So Christian says my pH swung to 8.8 after a move. I used tap water and the tap water 7.8. That's a huge swing, bro. Treat with prime and stability. pH recently jumped to 8.8. Have gravel and driftwood. No changes except the water I refill it with. That sounds super weird, bro. Your tap water is 7.8 and your pH rose, and you have driftwood in your tank. Driftwood usually drops pH. When you have wood in your tank, that's going to lower your pH. So this sounds a little weird to me. What kind of, you have gravel and driftwood. I'm going to assume that you're doing the test correctly. First of all, make sure you're doing the test correctly. If you are, that's a strange one to me, bro. I'm trying to think off the top of my head what this could be. Your pH is increasing after a water change, but your source water is 7.8. I was going to ask if you had maybe a ragonite or something, but you say you have gravel. Gravel is not going to raise your pH. Unless you have, maybe you have gravel. Do you have that weird colorful type gravel that has like paint on it? Maybe some of the paint is chipping away off the gravel and that's causing some kind of pH swing in your tank. You got me stumped there, Christian. I'm sorry, bro. That's very weird. I don't know what would be causing that. Afiz says, I haven't welcomed him from Lagos. Sorry, Afiz. Welcome. Jamon, GH and KH. So same thing, Jamon. Worry more about your pH. The GH and KH will follow the pH. That's what I do. I don't worry about GH and KH too much. J. Matthew says, I have 2 fish and 1 dies. I don't know, bro. You can have as many cats as you want. That was a good one. Oh, there it goes. It jumped to the bottom and I lost my spot. Happens all the time. Oink Master Supreme Forever is in the building. Welcome, Oink Master. Glad you're here. Thank you for coming. Let me see. Do I scroll back? Here, I found the goal. I'm scrolling up to the top, but I'm just gonna pick a question out, guys, because it's already jumping. It happens all the time. So I saw a good one. Robin says, is Cichlid lake salt as effective as aquarium salt for treating fungus in the quarantine tank? I'm going to say no, because aquarium salt is just aquarium salt. It's only that, and it can help with treating fungus in the tank. Cichlid lake salt does have sodium chloride in it, but it's not going to be as strong as just using aquarium salt on its own. But be careful with aquarium salt. You don't want to overdose that either. Giovanni says, am I selling my Buccochromis yellow? Absolutely not. No way. A Coop says, will adding water due to evaporation recycle your tank? I don't know what you mean by recycle. No, it's not going to recycle it. Do you mean like crash your cycle and make it start again? No. You can top off your tank due to evaporation, but you might still want to add. You are still going to want to dose prime, because that water that you're tapping off with has chlorine in it. So you still want to dose prime, even though it's just topping off due to evaporation. It's not going to affect your cycle or crash your cycle with topping off the water. Stephanie S says, hey Kev, I started my 29-gallon tank and still have 0 nitrite. It took 3 months to finally see ammonia. Wow. And now my tank smells like a dirty sponge. Is this from adding too much beneficial bacteria? That is a good question. 3 months to see ammonia? Usually I don't know if you have fish in the tank, Stephanie. It sounds like you don't have fish in the tank. If you're not seeing ammonia, you didn't have fish in the tank. And sometimes when you do a fishless cycle, it's a good idea to sprinkle in a little bit of food, even though there's nobody in there. That food is what's going to eventually convert itself into ammonia. It's going to deteriorate, and that's going to add ammonia into your tank. if you just left your tank sitting there without doing anything to it, you might not ever get ammonia. Maybe that's why it took you 3 months to get it. I don't know what kind of beneficial bacteria you were adding. If it's stability, that should have added. I take that back. I'm not 100% sure if stability actually adds ammonia to your tank or if it's just adding the beneficial bacteria. What you would want to do, Stephanie, if you're still having the problem, it smells like a dirty sponge. Do a big water change, first of all. Get a lot of that water out of there. Do a vacuum on your substrate. Make sure that there's not a bunch of, I don't know, you don't have fish in the tank, so I don't know what's causing the smelly water. But do a big water change and start out with prime and stability. You can add some food to the tank that's going to create ammonia in your water, and that's going to get your cycle started. You need to first introduce ammonia to the tank to get the bacteria growing. It's possible that you just had the tank sitting for too long and nothing was really happening. The cycle wasn't even kickstarting yet. That's a strange one too, Stephanie. Bassmaster says, I just added my first 6 cichlids, 2 to 3 inches yesterday. I want to add 3 to 4 inch cichlids. What are your recommendations? You can add them. That'll be fine. Just make sure that when you do add them, that you are dosing with stability. You're going to increase your bioload when you add new fish into the tank. So adding some stability every time you add new fish is going to help in boosting the bacteria to make sure it handles the extra ammonia that you're now going to have inside your tank. If you didn't mention what kind of cichlids, if they're African cichlids, it's a good idea to do a water change first. Reduce your water levels. It gets everybody a little bit crazy. Everybody a little bit like, hey, what's going on in here? And then that's a good time to add brand new fish in the tank. Adding 6, or you're going to add 3 to 4, that's a great number. That's the number you want to add if you're adding African cichlids. And you should be fine with that. Jay Speedy says, I just added an FX4. Currently running a 407 with it. I have 2 wave makers, but I still see some poop on the sand just hanging out. What should I do? Upgrade my wave makers? You didn't say the size of your tank, so I don't know how big your tank is and if the 2 wave makers will be enough. But it could also be the position of the wave makers, the angle that you have them in, or if they're in the right direction with your outputs from your FX4. If you're not creating that circular pattern, you might still have some dead spots in your tank, and that could be why your poop is not finding the intakes and getting out of there. It may not necessarily be upgrading your wave makers. It may just be adjusting the positions of them so that you get that circular pattern. Nicole says, let's go. I just got your book. Thank you, Nicole. Appreciate that. Thanks for letting me know you had that on your Shopify. I'm glad you heard it, and I'm glad you got it. Do me a favor, Nicole. Leave me an honest review when you can. Gina says, please help. Put algae remover, algicide, in my cichlid tank. I wouldn't do that. And I think my parrotfish has got burns. Should I just take them all out of the tank? I'm so scared. They're my babies. Gina, do a big water change right now. Yeah, right now. Even during the stream. Do a big water change. Get whatever you put in that water out of there. You do not need to add any of these crazy products to get rid of algae. There's many other natural things you could do, like reducing your light, like reducing your food, like adding algae-eating fish, things like that. A lot of those things are covered in my book. So, Gina, I highly suggest you get the book. But do a water change right now. Get whatever's out of there, out of there. Alan says, I'm moving sometime in a few months. I have a 55-gallon community and a 10-gallon pea puffer. How can I get them in the tank same day? I have a 55-gallon community and a 10-gallon pea puffer. That's a little bit of a confusing question, Alan. I think you're just trying to add fish into the same tank. You can put them all into the same tank the same day if you dose prime and stability. I know it sounds super simple, and it sounds like I'm just giving the easy answer, but that's the way to do it. Dose with prime and stability, you can add fish in the new tank same day. Fishing with Tay. Fishing with Tay says, what's up, Kev? I had my fish for a month, and they're not breeding. Okay. I've been doing consistent water changes, feeding them properly, more than enough hiding spaces. Any advice on what I'm doing wrong? Well, I don't know what kind of fish you have. Certain fish breed in different ways. But it could be, I mean, first of all, you want to make sure you have males and females. Sometimes there's a certain type of fish that they have to become like a mated pair in order to mate. Other water parameters like pH and temperature and stuff like that might prevent them from mating. There's a whole bunch of things that can cause them to mate or not mate. So that's a tough one to answer, bro. Jonathan Felt says, if your pH in your tank is 7.9 and your tap is 6.9, how do you keep pH up? You can raise the pH in your tank with a couple of different sources. The best way to do it is with a natural source like your substrate. If you get a ragonite sand or crushed coral, those type of substrates will release minerals into your water that will buffer the water and will raise the pH and keep it raised and keep it stable. That's the best way to do it. If you don't want to change your substrate, because I know that can be tough, another option is to put some crushed coral inside of a media bag and then put that bag inside your filters. That will keep water flowing through it, and the crushed coral will release its minerals into the water that's going through it and raise your pH as well. What was the other thing I was going to say about it? Another method besides that, the non-natural way, Seachem has a buffer that they sell that you can dose your water with the buffer, and the buffer will raise your pH as well. But I highly suggest that you go the natural way, because constantly dosing products to raise your pH will cause you to start chasing it. You may not dose the same way every time. You may not remove the same amount of water every time. So you're going to be messing with the pH levels too much. So I usually suggest go the natural way. Another form is also limestone rock. If you get limestone rock, that's another good way of raising your pH as well. Good evening, Patrick Harris. Scuba Steve is here. Scuba Steve says, oh, he's answering Brad. Yes, that is true. If your lights stay on for 6, I say 8 hours or more, you can cause algae to begin to grow. Yes, that is true. Less Than Handy has a true beginner question. No tank yet. Okay, cool. Always wanted clownfish, saltwater. Looking to get 2 or 3. I'm cheap. What would you recommend for someone like me? Did I mention I'm cheap? If you're really that cheap that you have to mention it twice, Less Than Handy, I wouldn't go saltwater tank. Because saltwater tanks are not cheap. They are not the easiest thing in the world. I'm not going to say they're super difficult. But if you're that cheap, you have to mention it twice. Saltwater is going to hurt your pockets. That's what I'll say. Less Than Handy. Aaron says, thank you for your service. Thank you, bro. Appreciate you. Thank you, Aaron. The bot is doing good. I see it there. People are asking for points and getting them. I love it. Tom says, I asked about cleaning filters with tank water rather than tap water. Okay. Just got an ammonia spike and now using Prime Stability, also nitrate at 10, only 1 week into the hobby. Your nitrates at 10 is not going to be a problem at all. Don't even worry about that. Not going to hurt your fish in any way. You're asking about if your tank is new. Let me make sure I'm on the right one here. If your tank is fairly new and you're still kind of going through the cycle, your tank's not mature yet. If you lose any amounts of beneficial bacteria, that can cause spikes in your tank. So for an immature tank, someone brand new, just getting the tank cycled, I do recommend that you clean your filters with tank water. Your sponges, your biomedia, everything inside your filter, clean it with tank water because you want to preserve as much of that beneficial bacteria as possible. Once your tank becomes mature and you know you've got a ton of bacteria all over your glass, on your substrate, it's on your equipment, it's on your decor, then when you clean your filters, it's okay to use tap water on your sponges. I still don't recommend using tap water on your biomedia. Your biomedia should never come in contact with chlorine. I don't care how much chlorine is needed to kill the bacteria. I'm not going to risk that. And I'm not going to suggest that any of you guys risk that. Just don't do it. It's just very simple, very easy to put your biomedia inside your tank while you clean your filter, or just, dunk it in the tank and put it back in the filter, and that's it. You don't got to do anything crazy when you're cleaning your biomedia. As far as your sponges in your filter, if you have a mature tank, yes, go ahead, rinse those out in the tub, in the sink, with the tap water. That's going to be fine. If you do lose any bacteria that was on the sponges, you have plenty more bacteria in the tank to quickly reproduce. That's in a mature tank. That's why it's a difference between what kind of tank you have. But great question, Tom. Great question, Tom. Box Mod 654. What should I do if I have had ammonia in my tank, but I've done an 80% water change, but then it comes back and my tank that is cycled? If Box Mod, if you have ammonia in your tank, then your tank is not cycled. That's the issue that we got going on here, bro. The water change is going to remove the ammonia, right? And then you're going to put fresh water back in the tank that doesn't have ammonia, but your fish are still in the tank, eating and pooping and breathing, and they're putting the ammonia right back in the tank. And if it stays in the tank, that means your tank is not cycled. That's exactly what it means. So what you need to do, because you already have fish in the tank, is get yourself some Prime and some Stability and start dosing that every day until you reach 40 parts per million of nitrate. Then do a water change. So no more water changes, bro. Leave the ammonia in the tank, but dose with Prime and wait for 40 parts per million of nitrate. Joe says, is API water conditioner okay to use? Prime is expensive. Prime is not that much more expensive than the API water conditioner. And no, it does not do the same thing. The API water conditioner is going to dechlorinate the water, but it does not detoxify ammonia, nitrite, and nitrate like the Prime does. And when you're cycling your tank and you have fish in there, that's exactly what you need. You need to detoxify that stuff to make sure that the water is safe for your fish. So shell out the couple extra dollars, bro, and get yourself some Prime. You won't ever go back once you get Prime. Empress says, can sand alter the tank's pH? Yes, if you have aragonite sand. Aragonite sand is going to alter the tank's pH. It's going to raise your pH. If you do not have aragonite sand, then no. Like, for example, in my American Cichlid tank, I use pool sand. That's sand, but it's pool sand. It doesn't do anything. It doesn't have any minerals in it. It just sits there and looks pretty. That is not affecting the pH in any way. In the African Cichlid tank, I'm using aragonite sand. That aragonite sand helps to raise the pH in the African Cichlid tank. Not that particular sand anymore because it's already old and depleted, and I've got to replace it soon. So that video is coming up soon in the future, guys. Coming soon. Let's see where I'm at. I lost it. Nope. I'm here. David says chat is booming. Yes, sir. I love it. Jay Hauser's answering somebody. Okay. John says driftwood lowers pH. That's correct. Carpet Man from Wisconsin. Hello, bro. Thank you for coming here. I see the bot is working well. Raul Sanchez, you don't have any points yet. That's probably because you just got in here, but you're getting there. New member. No, not a new member. Member for 4 months. Corin Gilks is a member for 4 months. Thank you, Corin. Thank you. So I appreciate your support, bro. Thank you for being a member. What happened? This thing jumped all over the place. No. Let me scroll up just a little bit and see if I see where we were. Nope. Okay, I'm just gonna start from here, guys, because I don't know how far the chat went down and it jumped to the bottom. So I'm starting from here. Kiona Pond says, hey Kev, what brand tank stands do you have for your tanks? My African Cichlid tank is, what is this? This is an Aquarium tank and it has an Aquarium stand. Same thing for the American tank. That's an Aquarium tank with an Aquarium stand. My 75-gallon tank that's behind us that I don't have a camera on right now is a Marine Land tank with a Marine Land stand. I haven't had any problems with any of my stands or my tanks for that matter. That was Kiona. Hoop Villain. Natural is greater than chems. That is true. ATL Heat. How do you control nitrates, Kev? You can control nitrates if you put live plants in your tank. live plants are going to help reduce your nitrates. If you don't want to have live plants or you can't have live plants because of your fish, then the other way to control your nitrates is by water change. Water changing, removing water from your tank, is going to deplete and what's the other word? It's gonna reduce your nitrates. That's how you control your nitrates. Also, your feeding as well. If you overfeed constantly, your nitrates are gonna raise that much faster. If you have an overstocked tank with too many fish in it, that's gonna raise your nitrates that much faster. So all those things contribute to how fast your nitrates rise. Robert says 75 gallon with the FX4 and wave makers. I don't remember the previous question, Robert. I'm sorry. Sage Fusion says, I got a question. So I watched your vid on how to get crystal clear water, and I'm going to order a sponge filter so I can have a hang-on back filter and a sponge filter together. That's the question? Yes, you can. Absolutely. You can have your hang-on back filter and a sponge filter together. You're just increasing the filtration, and there's nothing wrong with having more filtration. That's just going to make your water that much more clearer. Good on you, Sage Fusion. Let's see. Kiati. I'm sorry, Kiati. Kiati Maheshwari. Sorry if I messed that up. Any tips on neon tetras in the community tank with guppy and molly? It sounds like they all go together. I'm not too big or too experienced with the little fish in the hobby, but to my knowledge, those guys can go together. Guppies, mollies, and tetras. I think tetras might be a little bit more on the aggressive side than the other guys. Sorry, I can't help more. So Alex Oliva says, I have 2 peacocks fish that are not eating, and I don't have a quarantine tank. What can I use to help them out? I also have done more than 60% water change. So if they're not eating, that's a very indicative sign of possible internal parasites. Or, let me back up. Before internal parasites, fish not eating could just simply mean that they're stressed. So if they're stressed due to being bullied in the tank, like other fish are chasing them constantly and they're scared all the time, that will stress them out and that could cause them not to want to eat. If that's the case, you got to handle the aggression problem going on in your tank. If that's not the case, then the next thing would be possibly internal parasites, could be why they're not eating. If your fish have internal parasites, a very good way to tackle that right away is by medicating the food, and hopefully they will eat the medicated food and they'll get medication right to their stomach. What I use is Chem Metroplex mixed into the food along with Chem Focus, which will help bind the Metroplex to the food. And finally, Garlic Guard. Garlic Guard is a flavor enhancer to make the food taste less crappy now that you have medication in it, and hopefully that makes the non-eaters eat. If for whatever reason they still don't eat that medicated food, then you're going to have to remove those fish from the tank and medicate the entire water with just Metroplex. You can add Metroplex to the tank water, that'll work too. But you could also add it to directly to the whole tank that you have, but I'm assuming that if you have a big tank, that's going to cost extra to medicate the entire volume of water for your entire tank. It's a little bit more cost effective to remove them into a 10-gallon tank and then add the medication for 10 gallons of water, if that makes sense. So wait for Petco to get the dollar sales, $1 per tank per gallon. You can get yourself a 10-gallon for $10. No problem. Where was I? That was Alex? Yes. My man John, Los Angeles Cichlid with the 210 points. I like it. Alan says, did I skip? No. Alan says, I'll word that differently. I'm moving to a new place. I have 2 tanks, 55-gallon tropical community, and a 10-gallon pea puffer tank. What's your advice in getting them back into their tank after? After the move, you want to keep them in their same 2 separate tanks? It shouldn't be a problem. Getting them back into their tanks after shouldn't be a problem at all. If you keep your biomedia wet during the move, then you should be able to preserve your beneficial bacteria. Once you put that bacteria and the filter back on those tanks will still remain cycled. So it won't be any problem putting the fish right back in. But that's what you got to do. make sure that you're keeping some bacteria seated and alive and keep it wet during your move. I hope that answers the question. Water changes, haha. Scuba Steve says Texas Holy Rock. Yes, that also helps in raising your pH. Sage Fusion says, can someone tell me where he's reading the questions from? I'm reading them right off the chat, Sage, but I'm not at the bottom of the chat. I'm a little bit behind, so I'm just trying to not skip anybody and go down the line. If I don't get to your question, usually a super chat, I'll answer the super chat right away. If you find that I'm skipping your question, I don't get to it, and you really, really need help, that's the best way to do it. Yes, I am in the middle of the chat, John. Ghost Lincoln is from Ohio, new to the live, but been watching over a year. Thank you, Ghost Lincoln. Thank you for coming. Thank you for being here. And thank you for watching for so long. I appreciate you. Let's switch this up. We've been here for a while, right, guys? Show you the Africans. I do need to implement something that gets these cameras just moving on their own. Got to get that going. Scuba Steve says, I clean mine in tap. Always have never seen a problem. I wouldn't suggest it to anyone just because it works for me. Your tank might be mature enough, Scuba Steve, that cleaning it in tap water doesn't affect it too much. That's why there's a difference on your tank levels. So I see a super chat just came in, $5 from Agent Shadow Wolf. Welcome back, bro. I haven't seen you in a minute. Thank you very much for the super chat. I appreciate it. I highly appreciate it. I'm talking so fast sometimes stuff just gets spit out, jarbled. Hey Kev, I enjoy your content, so please keep it up. I will do, my bro. How many more peacocks and habs can I add to my 75-gallon tank? I currently have 17 so far. So in my 75-gallon tank, I used to have between 25 and 30 adult-sized African cichlids. So you could add, you have 17, 5 to 10 more. 5 to 10 more you could definitely add and you'll be fine. But Agent Shadow Wolf, when you have that much, you absolutely have to be over-filtering your tank. You're going to need to over-filtrate. Thank you for the super chat. Great question. How do I get this away? Go away. Not going to go away? Okay, there it is. Got it. Got that. Rick Brown says my 55-gallon is cycling and ammonia is at 8 parts per million. Wow, do continue with prime stability. Rick, if you're at 8 parts per million, that's going to be too much ammonia for the prime to handle. You can dose up to 5 times the dosage of prime, but that's only going to cover 5 parts per million of ammonia. So since you're already at 8, in your case, you do want to do a water change right now. Get the majority of that ammonia out of the tank, and you want to stay under 5 parts per million. If you do a water change, let's say 50%, and you get your ammonia to drop to 4 parts per million, then you want to dose 4 times the amount of prime that you need for your entire volume of water. That is a great question. And continue the stability also, obviously. Great question, Rick Brown. John McLean says, watching for the first time from Ireland. Thank you for being here. It's got to be super late over there. I appreciate you, bro. Thank you for being here, John. Kiyati, any tips on neon chetras? Just the tip I gave you earlier, bro. Sorry. Not real big on those. Jerry Kiner says, if adding water to keep the tank full, but not doing a water change, should I still add prime and stability? You only need stability, Jerry, if your tank is cycling. While your tank is cycling and you have fish in it, that's when you want to dose stability every day. If your tank is already cycled, then you no longer need stability. But if you're adding water, topping off just to keep the tank full, then yes, I do recommend that you add prime, because that little amount of water you're adding does contain chlorine. So you don't want that chlorine in your tank. Corey says, asking Aaron, any type bristlenose pleco should I get? Only one. I don't know what size your tank is, Corey, but one usually is enough. They are super duper workhorses. And specifically, I like to recommend the bristlenose pleco, because the bristlenose pleco stays about 5 or 6 inches. They don't get huge. The regular pleco, the standard pleco, can get like over a foot, and then they just become poop machines, and you don't want that in your tank. So I usually recommend bristlenose pleco. They get the job done. Mohammed Qureshi says, "Hey Kev, I set up my 125 gallon tank 4 weeks ago. Congrats on the 125. That's a dope tank. Ammonia is under control, but my nitrites are high. Dose instability every day. Still no control on nitrite. Just keep going, bro. You're going down the path. You already grew the bacteria that's eating the ammonia. Now you gotta grow. Did I say grew? Now you have to grow the bacteria that's eating the nitrite. So stay patient. Continue with your prime instability, and follow the process. You'll get there. I promise. Keep on going, bro. No water changes, Muhammad. No water changes until you reach 40 parts per million of nitrate. Okay, I answered that one. So, Joanie Rolofs Alder. I'm sorry if I messed that up. But Joanie says, "Hey Kev, I got a 125 gallon tank. I have African cichlids. My pH out of my tap is, I'm going to assume that's 7.2. And my pH goes to and holds right around 8.5. Is there anything I should do or let them just acclimate, or is that too high?" That's borderline too high, but not really, Joanie. If it's increasing to 8.5, something in your tank is causing that. Maybe you have a ragonite sand and it's doing its job. But 8.5 should be fine. If that's where it's increasing to and it's sticking right there, don't worry about it. Leave it right there. They should be fine right there. That's Joanie, 8.5 is like the high limit of where they can tolerate. And that's for Malawi African cichlids. Malawi's usually 8.5 is the top limit. If you had Lake Tanganyikan African cichlids, they can go even higher, up to like 9.0 plus. So it depends what kind of African cichlids you have, but I'm assuming that you have Lake Malawi cichlids. 8.5 is, you're fine right there. Antonio Lugo says, "When I tested my fish tank yesterday, it said it was higher in hard water. Do I have to lower the hardness?" I don't know what kind of fish you have, Antonio. If you have brackish hard water fish, let it be, bro. Don't mess with it. G Nasty 88 says, "How much ammonia I need to get the cycle started?" Any amount. 0.25, 0.5, 1 part per million. Any amount of ammonia in your tank is going to begin to grow beneficial bacteria. As long as your tank is oxygenated. Remember, beneficial bacteria need oxygen as well. If you don't have any oxygen going on in your tank, no surface agitation, you can add all the ammonia you want. You will not grow beneficial bacteria. Nobody knows says, "So I'm going into planted tank in my 75 gallon and I'm wondering if it's easier not. Could you answer my question on this live stream? Please, thank you. It would help." Let me read that again. "I'm going into planted tank in my 75 gallon and I'm wondering if it is easier not." I don't understand, bro. I'm sorry. Easier not to go into planted tank? Adding plants is additional work. It's something that you got to do if you want to have plants in your tank. You also got to keep them alive too. Plants need fertilizer. Plants need light. It is more work. It is harder when you have plants. If that's your question. Bodega Wi-Fi says some fish prefer hard water. Yes, that's true. That's why it depends what kind of fish you have. A Coop says prime does work. Absolutely, it works. I agree with you, A Coop. Hoop Villain says Seachem Safe is cheap, better than Prime. It's not necessarily better than Prime, but it is much more diluted. I do not recommend that people that have small tanks use Safe because you can easily overdose your tank with Safe. It is heavily concentrated and you need very tiny amounts of Safe in a small tank. So what I usually recommend is that if you have 100 gallons or bigger, then you can go with Seachem Safe. That'll work great. It does the same thing as Prime. It dechlorinates, it detoxifies. The only thing Safe doesn't do that Prime does is remove heavy metals. Prime removes heavy metals and Safe does not. But it will save you some money if you have over 100 gallons, go with the safe. Definitely going to save you money. That's what I use. Tom says, great. Thanks, Kev. Keep up the good work. Much appreciated. You're welcome, Tom. Provided Joker. Can you have too much filtration in your tank? No. I have 90-gallon tank with a HOB filter, 2 sponge filters, and an external canister filter. No. Too much filtration never hurt anybody, never hurt any fish. Overfiltrate all you want. It's only going to keep your water that much cleaner and that much clearer. The only thing I will say is that with a lot of filtration might create a lot of flow in your tank. So make sure that your fish are okay with the flow that all that filtration is causing. You know, from your outputs and stuff. That's probably the only thing you got to worry about when you overfilter. Kenji23 says, Kev, do you run your air pump and wave maker at the same time, or do you alternate, like turn wave maker off at night? In my African cichlid tank, I do not have an air pump in there at all. All I use is the wave maker. The wave maker creates the surface agitation, and that's more than enough to oxygenate that entire tank. It's a very powerful wave maker. It's getting the job done. At night, that wave maker does have a night mode. So when the lights go out, it senses the darkness and it reduces the power to 30%. But it does still remain on. That is still enough power to create the waves in the surface, keeping the tank oxygenated. If you have an air stone or what was the other one you asked about? Or an air pump, right? So you have an air stone or something. Can you run them at the same time? You can run them at the same time if you wanted to, but I find that when you have a wave maker, if you're running an air pump on, let's say, an air stone that's creating bubbles, sometimes your wave maker is going to catch those bubbles and push them around the tank and cause micro bubbles. And if you have micro bubbles in your tank, it's going to make your tank look dirty and look dusty and cloudy when it's really not, and it's just the micro bubbles in your tank. So in the American tank, these bubbles, you see that they're going straight up into the air, is because I don't have the wave maker on. When I do turn the wave maker on in the American tank, which I don't do that often, mainly because the arowana doesn't like it too much and I don't want to stress him out, but I do it sometimes just to clear the substrate. When poop starts to get on there, I turn the wave maker on and it starts pulling all the substrate. All those bubbles will also get pulled, and I hate the way it looks. So in this tank, because I don't run the wave maker 24/7, is why I keep the bubbles running 24/7 to make sure that there's oxygen in the water popping at that surface. But the FX6 that's on the far left is also, you can see the waves on the surface on the left-hand side of the tank. That's also creating surface agitation over there on that side all the time. That was a good question. I saw a $5 super chat came in from Winston Av TV. Thank you for the super chat, bro. I appreciate you. I'm back now in the hobby after a year break. Welcome back, bro. Appreciate you coming back. Excited to be back. 55-gallon corner tank. Appreciate the knowledge you spread. Feels like I never left. My man Winston, my pleasure. Glad you came back. Glad that you're here. Glad you're on the live stream. And thank you for the super chat. Where were we? Saw that? Yeah, I guess I'm getting closer to the bottom. Really? Okay. Oh, there's the jump. I wasn't that close to the bottom. So let me go up to right here somewhere. Let me find the member and I'll start there. Let me scroll up. Okay, that's John. Scroll up. My members aren't asking questions. Patrick is here. Guys, please understand that he's roughly reading questions from 10 minutes ago. Yes, I am. Okay, I'm going to go all the way to the bottom and start from here. Since I'm way too far behind, I'm going to start from the bottom. So, let's see. Jareth Mikkel. Jareth Mikkel says, just stopping by to say thanks for the Cichlid addiction. You're welcome, bro. Started with one tank 6 months ago. Now have 5. Where's a good place to find a 200 plus gallon? So, you have 5 already. Now you want a 200? Okay, you're definitely addicted. Where I get my big tanks is just from a local store around here. They're called petswarehouse.com. They usually order tanks, but the issue is with my local store is that they only ship to their local store. So you have to go to the store and pick it up yourself. So if you don't have a store local to you of petswarehouse.com, that's not going to really work for you. Besides that, it is difficult to find big tanks. I see a $4.99 just came in from What can I click it? Tiffany. Hey Tiffany, welcome. Glad you're here. I got a cichlid online advertised as American, but it's African jeweled. My grow out tank, should I keep it and try it in with my Americans? I think I'm a little confused here, Tiffany. The jewel cichlid, if it's the jewel cichlid that I'm thinking of, I believe that's an American cichlid. So if it is American, you should try it in your American cichlid tank. I'm sorry if I don't understand the question too well, Tiffany. Love Dream and Drone just become a member. Welcome to the family. The bot is working pretty good, guys. We're doing good. We're doing good. Amanda says my GH and KH are both as high as the test will read, even though my pH is only 6.5. They did not go down when my pH went down. So they don't always follow the pH level. That's news to me, Amanda. I don't know why your pH is dropping, but GH and KH is not. If that's really the case, then Amanda, I'm going to have to do more research on it. Because like I said, I don't know that much about GH and KH because I never mess with it. I never bother with it. I never test it. I never try to adjust it. I just keep my focus on the pH. But thank you for that information. Miguel says, what's a good wave maker for my 210 gallon? The same wave maker that I use in my 210 gallon. You can find it in my shop. It's the Unicliff 3,400 gallon per hour wave maker. It's in my shop. Let me see if this works. If I go shop, will that work? I don't know. We'll see if it works. But I'm sure one of the moderators will put the link to the shop. Or you can go through the master link. Use the master link and that will get you to the shop. Let me see if this works. Boom. Oh, it worked. Nice. There you go. Affiliate shop has all the products I use and recommend. The bot is on point today, guys. I told you. I worked on the gremlins and I got it and I fixed it. I love it. I love when things work right. And the master link is working too. You could use either one of those and get to the shop and find out wave maker. Now let me go back to where I was. Ashton Dennis says I have 4 nickel-sized angels in a 10-gallon quarantine. They're at the surface. Oxygen is good, but one is aggressive. I plan on getting a 75-gallon within 2 weeks. Is it just too small for territory? Possibly. Nickel-sized angels? A 10-gallon should be fine for them. You may just got an aggressive fish. You might got one guy that's just a little bit of a butthead. It happens. But they will do very well in your 75-gallon. Headshot Honcho says, you got me into this hobby. Thank you for all the knowledge. Saw your fluval heater break. Any suggestions on a heater? I use a very generic heater that I found on Amazon one day that had a ton of reviews, 5-star reviews. And I forgot the name of it. I think it starts with the O. I'm not going to try to think of it right now because I'm not going to remember. But it is in my shop. If you go to my shop or use the master link and you go under heater or equipment, it's there. And you'll find the one that I use. That's the heater that I use in all my tanks. It's some generic brand name and it works great. The heater that you're talking about that broke on me, that was actually a fluval heater. Sorry, fluval. The other heaters have not broken and are working well at the moment. Knock on wood. Where am I? Okay. By the way, Headshot, I'm glad I got you into the hobby. My pleasure. Mikey says, so I'm going on vacation for 3 days. Will it be okay to leave the light off those days? Absolutely. That's actually what you want to do. Make sure there's no reason for the light to come on while you're gone. Leave it off. They'll get plenty of natural light that comes in through your windows or whatever. Don't worry about it. Leave the light off. Ben T says, hey, are you from Long Island? Yes, sir. Long Island in the house. I live in Long Island, but I'm from Queens. Corona, Queens in the house. Representing for life. Great question, Ben T. Okay. Robull says he recently picked up a flower horn that was labeled as a Jack Dempsey. Wow, that's a big difference. No, I'm not that familiar with flower horns. I've never kept one, but I know that they are aggressive fish, and usually they gotta be on their own. They don't like tank mates with them. More often than not, how do I determine if male or female? You gotta vent them. The best way is venting them. I'm not too familiar how the holes on a flower horn look. If it's anything like an African cichlid, 2 holes of the same size as a male, 2 holes different size is a female. If they're anything similar to African cichlids. Sorry, I can't be more precise on that one. Svefin Markham says, so would adding a larger group of new fish to an established tank increase their survival rate? Of the new fish, you mean? Yes. Especially with African cichlids. Because African cichlids are so aggressive. If you add just one fish to an established tank, they're all going to go after that one fish and make sure they push him to the bottom of the hierarchy, which could cause stress and could kill that fish. So adding a group of fish is the way to do it when you keep aggressive fish like African cichlids. That's the way to do it. Why? They're still going to get picked on, the new fish, but the aggression is going to be spread so that not just one fish gets all the aggression from everybody else. It gets spread amongst the group, and it's a little bit less aggression per fish, if that makes sense. That is going to increase their survival rate. Yes. Ghost Lincoln says, my fish eat everything. I would love to do a live plant tank, but I can't unless I start another tank or have some work to do. Thanks. This will be fun. Start another tank, bro. That's what you got to do. I tried keeping plants in my African cichlid tank as well, and they destroyed those things right away. So not happening. Citroid D says, hey man, how many cichlids would you recommend in a 60-gallon tank? I got the wave maker and the bottom wave maker as well, and I love it so far. So 60 gallons, throwing a number out there, I would say like 15 to 20, maybe something like that. If I had 25 to 30 in my 75, you could probably go 15 to 20 in a 60. But again, I have to reiterate that when you overstock a tank like that, you will need to overfiltrate as well. Had to take a water break, guys. Sorry. So, let's keep it rolling here. Chat is really popping, guys. I'm glad you guys are here and asking questions. I'm glad I'm able to help those that I can, and I'm sorry for the guys that I can't. But let's keep rolling. So Jacob Sisk says, how do you get new fish in a new tank to start eating if they aren't? And also, when are you going to do a video on a fish in cycle? When am I going to do a video on a fish in cycle? I have like 3 videos on doing fish in cycles, Jacob. Just go to YouTube and search fish in cycle, and my video will pop up. I'm sure that it will. How do you get new fish in a tank to start eating? Your new fish may still be stressed from wherever you got them from the fish store, transitioning to your house, or if they were shipped to you, they could be stressed out. So fish that are stressed and scared and getting used to their new environment probably won't eat. Just give them time. And make sure that there's no other fish in the tank bullying them, or that's just going to contribute to the stress, and that's not going to help anything. Points are still working. Points are working. I like it. Andre Sanders checking his points with 78 points. No, it jumped on me, guys. Let me go back. Let me see who was that. Lost it, guys. Nope, I found it. Found it. Okay, that was Andre. So, La Vida de Lozier. La Vida de Lozier. First of all, welcome to the membership. Appreciate you. Thank you very much for your support. In a 75-gallon African cichlid tank, which side should I place the more powerful wave maker if I have 2 wave makers? The side of the intake? So, if you have 2 wave makers, you want the wave maker that's going to go on top of the tank, angled upwards, like in my African cichlid tank, all the way on the far right. Well, I kind of have it almost at the middle, but the one that goes on top, angled upwards, that's the one you want on the same side as your intake. The other one goes on the other side on the bottom. Why? Because the one on top is going to push water across the surface of the water, and water that returns is going to return from the bottom of the tank. And that's where your filter intake is at the bottom of the tank. So that's how you're going to pull water and all the waste and detritus to that wave maker, and it's going to pull everything right past your filter's intake and get it out of there. Shoaib says, Kev, does your 3D background get algae? No, because I do everything else that I'm supposed to do to prevent algae growth. I keep my lights on for only 8 hours or less, sometimes 6 or 7 hours or less. I don't overfeed my tank, and I have a pleco in this tank that is a monster at eating algae. So I get no algae on anything, not on any of the rocks and not on anywhere of the background. Pleco does his job, and I do my job at preventing algae growth. That, okay. Affiliate shop, master, that was me. Streamlab, the bot, okay, nice. Andrezi Stotch. What tank mates would you recommend for discus in a 215-gallon tank? And how old is your arowana? I don't keep discus, but every discus tank I've ever seen has discus in it. And that's it. Now, what comes to mind right off the top, though, I have seen some discus tanks with some geophagus. That is a beautiful tank. Geophagus are very, I want to say maybe submissive fish. They're not aggressive fish. They're very calm and they're very chill. So I do remember seeing a very beautiful tank on Instagram with discus and geophagus. And that's actually one of the tanks that's on my future list to one day have. When I do decide to go discus and try out a discus tank, I'm definitely going to be adding some geophagus to there to add that color. The other question, how old is my arowana? I don't know. I had him when he was really small. Maybe a year or something like that. Or less. Maybe it hasn't been a whole year yet. If you check out a video called 150-gallon setup on my channel, when I set up my American Cichlid tank is the same time that I got the arowana. And I don't think I've had that tank for a year yet. And maybe it actually might be. No, not a year yet. The 210 has about a year. The 150, not yet. So a little under a year for the arowana. You got me second guessing myself, bro. Let's keep it moving here. Okay, I love you guys helping each other out in the chat. I see a $5 super sticker from Garcia Aquatics. That's my man from Garcia Aquatics. Welcome, bro. Nice meeting you at Aquashella. Glad that you're here. Thank you for the $5, bro. Appreciate you. Let me go away. It won't let me go away. There it is. Where was I? Okay, there. I found it. Yep. Chris Greenlee says, hey, Kev, tanks are looking great. Thank you, bro. What's the small blue fish that peeks out from the driftwood every now and again? That is the electric blue Jack Dempsey. He's one of a kind in my tank. They start out really, really small and they grow really, really slow. I believe that mine's might be a female. There he is. There he is. He just popped out. Great timing. I believe that mine's is a female, and that's why she is growing a little bit slower, because I have a friend of mine named Tony. Tony, if you're going to watch the replay, I'm shouting you out. Tony got his electric blue Jack Dempsey at the same time that I got mine, but his is kind of massive right now. So I assume that his is a male and mine is probably a female, but that's an electric blue Jack Dempsey. John says gremlins. No, the gremlins are gone, bro. We fixed it. Ridvan says, hey, Kev, Is it possible to keep dolphin cichlid with peacocks in one tank? Yes. I like my peacocks a lot, but I really want to add 1 or 2 dolphin cichlids. And also, thank you for all the great content. If you're there's an African cichlid that's named the dolphin. If that's the one you're talking about, it's an African cichlid. It could go with other peacocks. Yes. Oh, Tiffany got the bot treatment. Please refrain from spamming caps. The bot is on point. All right, take a plans. Jacob says, what do you think? Jacob Sisk, what do you think about Dr. Tim's ammonia chloride starter for a new tank? I've never used it, so I cannot have an opinion on that. Sorry, bro. But my recommendation is put your fish in the tank, prime stability. That's how I started this 150-gallon American cichlid tank, just like that. Brian says, Inkbird heater control with BRS titanium heating elements. Best combo ever. Yes, I do also have an Inkbird temperature controller on my African cichlid tank. And I do need to add them to the rest of the tanks as well. But that's the most safest thing that you could have is a temperature controller. And the Inkbird is the way to go. That's one of the top brands. Shoaib says, Orlushy heater. Yes, that's the one. Orlushy. That is the one that I use. It's got great reviews on Amazon. And I haven't had any problems with that heater to date. My man John is reminding you to smash the like button, guys. If you're getting some value and you're enjoying yourself and I'm helping you out, please hit that like button to bring more people over to the stream and let YouTube spread it in the YouTube world. Thank you. Thank you very much. Let's change the view here, guys. Let's go to this one. Mikey says, thank you so much. Love your videos. Keep up the awesome work. Thank you, Mikey. I appreciate you. I'm glad you're finding the channel helpful. Master. Yes, it works. It works. My man John is using the commands. John is killing. Doing a good job. Tiffany says, I'm so sorry. I wasn't trying to spam. No problem, Tiffany. That's just the bot doing his job. I understand. The bot is working extremely well tonight, guys. I'm super surprised because this thing was not working before. Michael says, how many angels can I put in a 75-gallon? I really want an angelfish tank. I'm not too experienced with angelfish. You don't want to really overcrowd them, I don't think. They're not fish that like to be overcrowded. But a 75-gallon tank, you could have more than a few. You're welcome, Robles. Thank you. Welcome. Anthony's answering Michael. Depends on filtration. That always matters too. Yes, correct. John checking his points. Okay, it's working. Yes, it is the Orlushy heater. Joe says, I'm going to subscribe to the channel because I love your videos. Thank you, Joe. Appreciate you subscribing. And you're also going to earn some more points when you do subscribe. So that's a good thing to do it during the live stream. Good on you, bro. The bot is working, bro. Promoting the book. Look at that. I love it. Brian says male flower horn also have bigger ball on their head. Yes, I do. That is true, Brian. I forgot to mention that. That big old hump on the flower horn's head, the males usually get that bigger, huge hump. That is true. I do remember hearing that. Thank you, Brian. I love when you guys help each other out in the chat. So I can't answer it all. I don't know it all, guys. I help when I can, but I love when you knowledgeable guys are here in the chat with me, backing me up. I appreciate that. 9 months. Steve O. Welcome to the live stream, Steve O. My man Steve O has been a member for 9 months. That gets a round of applause, guys. Thank you, Steve-O. I appreciate you sticking with me that long, bro. What was the message? Let me read it. If I can click it. Oh, we got stuck here. Let me click it. Kev, what's good? Shout out to all the tank bosses. You're becoming pro with the live stream, my dude. Thank you, Steve-O. Appreciate that. I'm doing my best, trying to work my way up the ladder, slowly but surely. All right, let's go back. It scrolled on me. Don't scroll. Don't scroll. Don't do that. Oh, boy. I'm lost. Let me see if I... Okay, I'm gonna start from right here, guys, because I don't want to waste time searching for where I was. So I see Empress Nay. Empress Nay says, having difficulty cycling my 5-gallon tank. Currently has 2 female betas and 4 Pristilla maxillaris. I don't have experience with these fish. I'm sorry. Planning to upgrade to a 20-gallon tank soon. Why does it seem harder to cycle a smaller tank? Well, like I mentioned earlier in the stream, during the topic, when you have a small volume of water, it's easier for parameters to fluctuate because any change in that small water volume is going to create swings. It's going to happen in that small volume of water. So you say you have difficulty cycling it. I don't know what you're doing trying to get it cycled, but if you have the fish in the tank, you should be going with prime and stability. I think that your 20-gallon upgrade is going to be a good idea. Yes, it will be. I saw my man, who's this? My man Patrick. Kev for getting Flaco. Rest in peace, that Flaco dose. My man Patrick is right. Someone asked me about the arowana. The arowana is my second arowana because my original Flaco, he passed away because he ended up jumping out of the tank one weekend that I wasn't home. So this arowana is Flaco Dos. No, Patrick, I have never forgotten him. I just was answering the question. But my man Patrick has been a member for 15 months. So OG, I love you, bro. Love you. Let's keep it moving. Don't get stuck. What was the last question I read? That was that one, yes. Okay. Amanda says, I live in Florida, so the temps during the summer get up there. Is there any way to keep my tank cold? I have goldfish without spending hundreds on a water cooling system besides running AC super low. Yes, there is one great trick that I like to use, Amanda. Get a normal regular water bottle. Make sure that you remove all the paper and all the glue, that sticky stuff off the water bottle. Remove it all. Freeze the water bottle. Freeze a couple of them. Have 2 or 3 frozen water bottles, and then use the frozen water bottles. Just dump them right in your tank. The whole bottle with the ice inside. Put the whole bottle in your tank. That will reduce the temperature in your tank. And then as that as that frozen water bottle thaws out, switch it with your other frozen bottle. That's why you want to have multiple frozen bottles. And then you just keep rotating them, and that'll reduce the temperature in your tank. That's one of the best ways of doing it. Another way is keeping your glass lids on top up and open, and you could put like fans that directly blow air onto the surface of your water. That'll help as well. But the frozen water bottle trick is one of the best ones. That was Amanda. Amanda, I also have an entire video on exactly that topic. If you search, I think it's aquarium temperature. Search aquarium temperature, KaveMan aquarium temperature. You'll find the video that I did on that entire topic. But it's going to give you the same tips that I just gave you. So check it out anyway. Oink Master Supreme Forever is answering Tracy. I missed the question, so hopefully Oink Master Supreme helped you out. Thank you for the help, Oink Master. Great meeting you at Aquashella as well. It was a pleasure. See, I remember. I do my best to remember everybody. Micus Putenis says, I have a 75-gallon tank with a Fluval 407 filter. How many peacocks, haps, cichlids can the filter handle before it gets overwhelmed? And I would need more filtration. Not that many, bro. Because that 407 filter is a great filter for a 75-gallon. It absolutely is. But once you start overstocking that tank with African cichlids, if you got more than like 10 or more than 15, you might want to upgrade your filter. You're going to notice that you need additional filtration when you cannot keep your water crystal clear. If the water is continuously cloudy and looking dirty, even after you do a water change, it takes 1 day and it's cloudy again, it's because you need more filtration. Empress Nay says, having difficulty cycling my 5-gallon tank. I think I answered that already. Trevor says, did you get new albino Oscar fish? No, they're not new. I got them a while ago, but I do have 2 albino Oscars in there. Yes, I do. But they're not new. They've been with me for a while. They've been growing already too. I also did have, if you guys remember, I had a bumblebee Oscar. And he was very short-lived because the tiger Oscar right there did not like him. So he didn't make it. Real Vinayak says, can I put koi to a Mali pond? I don't know. I cannot help you with that one. Koi belong in a pond? Yes. I don't know what a molly pond is. I would assume koi might eat the molly because they're small. I don't really have experience in that. Sorry, I couldn't help, bro. Tiffany says, let's go. Tiffany, I love it. Stephanie says, have you thought about starting a saltwater tank? And if so, what fish are you interested in getting? I have heavily thought about starting a saltwater tank. It's looking more and more like it is becoming a reality because I am leaning more into that direction. But before I do, if I do go saltwater tank, I'm not getting a small one. It's not going to happen. I'm going to have to get a big, huge tank and make that one my saltwater tank. But I am heavily considering it. It might happen in the near future. What kind of fish would I get? I don't really know a whole bunch of saltwater fish. The one that I can never remember his name, but I love the fish, is the boss fish in the aquarium in Finding Nemo. The guy with the plan, the guy who made the plan to escape, that's one of the fish I really, really like. And I can never remember his name. I'm sure somebody knows exactly what it is. They'll throw it in the chat. So I might start with something like that. Let's go. Aaron says, that question reminded me. I have one FX6 on my 75-gallon tank. If I overstock with African cichlids, is the one FX6 and my one Tidal 110 enough filtration? Yes. There will be about 2 to 3 inches. Yes. A 110 and an FX6 on a 75, plenty of filtration. You'll be good to go with that. Empress says, again, I answered that one. Malaki Love says, I have assorted African cichlids. How would I know which ones I can add to it? If assorted means peacocks, haps, and imbunas, you might run into a problem mixing imbunas in the tank with them. Mainly because imbunas have a different diet, they have a different aggression level, and I usually recommend, especially to beginners, not to mix imbunas. If you don't have imbunas, then it's okay to add basically any other species of peacocks or haps. Try to avoid adding the same species over and over in your tank because that might have them at each other's throats, going after each other all the time. Did get my super. Love Dream and Drone says, did get my super. No, I did not. I did not get your super chat, Love Dream and Drone. Sorry. I hope there's not a problem with the super chats. If somebody else sent a super chat and I didn't read it off, let me know, please. My man Patrick with the fishing cycle video. There you go. That's it right there. Thank you, Patrick. Jacob says, sorry, Kev. I meant, when would you do a video on a fishless cycle? Okay. I didn't mean fishing cycle. I've seen all your videos on that. Okay. Somebody else asked me that recently. Oh, that might have been you, Jacob. Your profile picture looks familiar. That might have been you. I told you, if it was you, that I added it to my list, and I'm going to do a video soon on a fishless cycle. I'll do it. Frank Guerra says, when adding fish, should they be the same size as the fish you have, or is it okay to add smaller fish? It would be more beneficial to add the same size fish to reduce, too much aggression going on. But if they're a little bit smaller, that's okay too. You don't want to go way smaller because that's not going to work. But a little bit smaller should be fine. Oink Master Supreme says, answering A. Tracy. Okay, thank you, Oink Master, for helping out. I appreciate you. Garcia Aquatics, I'm good, bro. Thank you for being here. Appreciate the super chat, the super sticker. Thank you, bro. My man Patrick, I agree with Patrick. If you haven't hit the like button yet, I'm not mad. I'm just disappointed. I agree with Patrick. Carpet Man says, anyone in here with frontosas, how do they do with wave makers? Thanks. So I have 3 frontosas in my Malawi tank, and they do absolutely fine with the wave maker. Doesn't bother them at all. But I do understand the question. Frontosas, I would say, normally would rather enjoy a more calmer tank because they're a little bit more calmer fish. But my 3 guys are doing absolutely fine in my Malawi tank. I just got scared because I heard the door and I thought that meant that my wife and kids were coming back. So I checked the time and we're 10 minutes to 8, guys. So here's what we're going to do. I appreciate everybody that's still here. 163 of you guys are still with me. I appreciate you guys. And because you guys are still here, oh, Jacob with the 99 cents. I didn't see that. You know what, guys? I don't think the super chats were popping up at the top. But I see your 99 cents, Jacob. I appreciate that. For some reason, it didn't pop up to the top. I don't know why. And now the chat is stuck. Okay, I'm at the bottom. So here's what we're going to do, guys. We're going to start the live giveaway because I got 10 minutes before I get ransacked. So for all of you that are here, check your points right now. Make sure you have enough points to enter the giveaway. I believe, it's still a little bit chilly in New York. So let's give away a hoodie. If you guys want a hoodie, we're going to start the raffle right now. Give me a second while I set it up. I have to first go in here. $3 from Corwin. Thank you, bro. Appreciate you. Let me go to giveaways. Boom. Giveaways. Everybody's checking their points. Okay. Good, good. The bot is hooking you guys up. Boom. We're going to give away a KaveMan hoodie today, guys. I'm going to start the giveaway. First thing I need to do is pay for it. So I'm going to go pay for it. Boom. Window popped up. It's giveaway time. For all you 160 something guys that are still here, I appreciate you guys sticking with me. Gathering your points. As great as the bot has been working, I really hope it works for the giveaway too. Let's do it. Continue. Paying for it right now. Okay. Payment successful and verified. Your giveaway has started. All right, guys. Let's do this. To enter the raffle, there's one thing I want to try, but let's see if this tries first. If you want to enter the raffle, what you need to do, give it to me. Nope. You're gonna use exclamation point raffle. Type exclamation point raffle, and that should enter you into the raffle. Let's see if it works, guys. Let's see if it works, guys. Let's do it. $1.99 came in. I saw that. I saw that. From that guy, Mike. Thank you, Mike, for the $1.99. I appreciate you, bro. Let's see who's doing raffle. Is it letting anybody in? It's looking like it's not letting anybody in. Okay, not a worry. I think I know what it is, guys. Give me 1 second. I was afraid of this, and I think it's possible that I have to do this first. Boom. Open raffle. Mods, keep an eye out on what I'm doing here because this is what I'll need you guys to do next time. So, boom. I got to do open raffle. Let's see if that does anything. Let's see if the bot responds to me. Okay, the bot says official hoodie raffle is going on for viewers. So now it's accepting. Now we do exclamation point raffle. Yes. Let's see if it's adding you guys. Nobody's in here yet. Entries are open. Get in, guys. Come on. Come on, you crazy bot. Let these people in here. Everybody's doing raffle. Guys, try exclamation point raffle space and the number of tickets that you want. Let me make sure I did the right one. Let me make sure. Commands, default. It's supposed to be raffle giveaway. Open raffle. Start accepting raffle entries. I'm going to try one more time. Boom. Open raffle. Am I spelling it right? Yes, that's how you spell raffle. Mods, if you try moderators type in open raffle for me, maybe that'll work. Raffle 30. So it's telling me that the raffle's going on. Thank you, Trent, for the $3, bro. I appreciate you. To enter the raffle, each ticket costs 100. Let's see what's happening here. Let me go back to the giveaway and see if anybody got in. Anthony made it in. Anthony has 1 ticket. So whatever Anthony did, do what Anthony did. Guys, let us know what you did. David just joined with 3 tickets. Oh, it's starting to work, guys. It's starting to work. David has 3 tickets. Anthony has 1 ticket. Empress Nay has 1 ticket. Smash the like button. Anybody else? I got 3 people in the giveaway right now. It's $100 per ticket. I see more people came in. David Cochran has 3 tickets. $100. It's not $100. I'm sorry. It's 100 points per ticket. So make sure, guys, that you have the 100 points. If you don't have 100 points, it's not going to let you in. But if you guys were with me for enough time, here we go. Entries are coming in. It's starting to work. Let's go. I'm going to stop it at 8 o'clock. So there's another 5 minutes to make sure everybody has a chance to get in. There's still 170 people here. Let's get in the raffle. So I have Empress Nay has 1 ticket. Anthony has 1 ticket. David Cochran has 3 tickets. Scuba Steve-O Aquatics has 4 tickets. Love Dream and Drone has 3. Bigger is Better has 4. Michelle Johnson has 1. Jacob Sisk has 1. Let's go. Let's get in, guys. Good luck to everybody. I wanna give out merch to you guys. I wanted this to work so bad because I want to give back to you guys. And check this out, guys. This is the thing. If you don't win the giveaway right now, or you don't, have enough points to get in right now, don't worry, because your points are going to accumulate and they're going to roll over into the next stream. So you always keep your points that you don't spend. And in the future, when I figure this thing out a little bit more, I'll try to have more things than just merch. I might give away. There's a way to do a custom giveaway. For example, I might give away like a filter. I might give away some heaters. I might give away some C-Chem products. Who knows? So the points will always be able to be used later on in the future. But I have to first figure out how to set up a custom giveaway. But let's see. Okay, I haven't seen any more people since the last time in here. Still the same people that I shouted out earlier. Oh, I think somebody else got in. Nope, looks the same to me. Let's see what's going on in the chat, guys. Bet 25? I don't know what that is, Patrick. Okay, so you see, Bodega Wi-Fi, you only have 70 points, bro. So you're not going to be able to get into the raffle with 70 points because it costs 100 points. I was in the chat since earlier today how I have 80 points. Well, it's only 10 points every 5 minutes. So I'm not sure how it works. If you were jumping in and out, maybe that's what it was. But also, every comment that you leave in the chat should earn you some points. I don't think I got any points. Okay, guys. So I don't see anybody else is not able to get in. Make sure to follow on Facebook. Yes, Raffle 5. That's Winston Ave TV. Guys, if you're not subscribed, try subscribing to the channel. That'll get you some extra points too. I know subscribers get bonus points. If you enter the raffle and you are a subscriber, you get bonus points. Tiffany says, I'll get it next time. Okay. Remember, you don't lose your points. So if you can't get into this one, you'll get into the next one. I'm sorry, Corwin. I don't know what's the issue with the points. For some reason, it only gave you 80. Maybe you were jumping in and out or changing tabs. I'm not sure exactly how it tracks your 5 minutes. You know what I mean? John says, am I in? Let me see. John. No, you're not in, bro. Oh, Patrick just got in. Patrick got 3 tickets. So, Andre Sanders, you have 98 points, bro. I don't know. Comment something in the chat. Comment in the chat and maybe it bumps you up to 100. Because every comment that you leave in the chat gives you more points. All right, we got a few minutes left before I grant a winner. And remember, guys, to be a winner, to receive your winnings, to claim the winner of the giveaway, you have to be here. So don't leave once I announce the winner and it's not you, because if the winner's not here to claim it, I got to pick another winner. It's the only way to claim the prize. Am I in? Alex Olivia. Nope, Alex, I don't see your name here. I'm going to shout out who's in here right now. There's 9 people in here with a total of 22 tickets. Empress Nay has 1. Anthony has 1. David Cochran has 4. Scuba Steve has 4. Love Dream and Drone has 3. Bigger is Better with 4. Michael Johnson has 1. Jacob Sisk has 1. And Patrick has 3. Everybody else, if you can't get in, I'm sorry that you can't get in. You might not have enough points. Los Angeles Sixers has 300 points. How are you not in, bro? So Jacob, you have 5 points, but Jacob is in here already. That's why you spent your points. Los Angeles Cichlids, how'd you not in here, bro? You have 300 points? What's going on? Oh, somebody else just came in. Andre Sanders came in with 3 tickets. He has 3 tickets. There you go. Andre just wrote 3. Sounds like a him problem. 60 points, 10 points. Those points are not going to get you in, guys. But don't worry. Your points will accumulate for the next one, I promise. Let's go back to the screen. I'm over here stuck on the wrong screen. Okay. All right, guys. Commander Adam, you have 30 points. How do you check your points? Exclamation point points is how you check your points. Guys, try exclamation point raffle. And if that doesn't work, try exclamation point raffle space the number of tickets you want. But the number that you choose, you have to have the equivalent amount of points to get that. So start with 1. So 9 Pescados is doing raffle 1. But I don't see you getting in. So first 9 Pescados, check your points. Maybe you don't have 100 points. It costs 100 points, guys. It costs 100 points. All right. I made you guys wait long enough. There's 150 of you still here with me, and I love you for it. Thank you for sticking around. Let me see. Alex Olivia just jumped in too with 1 ticket. So we're going to close the raffle here, guys. Don't worry if you didn't get in. It's okay. You still have the points that you already have. It's going to transfer over to the next stream. But let's pick a winner here. How about that? Close entries. Boom. Entries are closed, guys. And now we're going to pick a winner. And when I pick the winner, it should pop out in the chat. Here we go. Picking winner. Love, Dream, and Drone is the winner. Let's see if it pops out in the chat. Yes, it did. We have a winner. Congrats to Love, Dream, and Drone. Click the link to receive your official hoodie. I don't know how to find out if you are going to accept it or not. We'll wait a few minutes. We'll wait a few seconds to see if Love, Dream, and Drone is still here. Love, Dream, and Drone, let us know that you're here and that you click the link to redeem it. Love, Dream, and Drone is here. All right. We have a winner. Clicking now. I see you over here too. Okay, so you're popped up in the giveaway. Accept. No, you can't type accept, Love, Dream, and Drone. There's a link that popped up. You need to go click that link. Unless it told you to type accept in the chat. I don't know. Sorry, Biggest Better. Next time. Don't worry. Next time you might win. So, Love, Dream, and Drone, let us know what's going on. Did you click the link? If you missed the link, scroll up in the chat till you find that link. And it'll be there for you. Click the link. One moment. Okay, it's working. It's working. See, we're learning as we go too, Love, Dream, and Drone. So I want to see if this lets me know that you redeemed it. And that way I know that it's redeemed. And we don't have to pick another winner. You're here. You're communicating with us. So we got a winner. Yes, Scuba Steve, if you don't win, well, if you spent money on the tickets and you didn't win, I'm sorry. If you spent points to buy the tickets and you didn't win, those points are gone. But whatever points you still had remainder left over, you keep those. I'm going to just buy the hoodie. I hate losing. Okay, Jacob. That works too, bro. For 5-year-olds? Nah, bro. I'm sorry. The hoodie only goes... The smallest size, I think, is small. I don't think that's for kids. What's up, Large Bite? This is like the Aquashella raffle. That was crazy, right? So, Love and Drone... Okay, it sent me to the site. Clicking the size now. Okay. Love, Dream, and Drone is doing the process. I guess it should be redeemed because you already clicked it and you're going through the process. So to me, that means that you redeemed it already. So guys, I'm going to say that it's safe to say the winner has redeemed their hoodie. Love, Dream, and Drone, do me a favor also. When you receive your hoodie, do me a favor. If you're not in the Facebook group, I hope you join. Go into the Facebook group and send us a picture of your prize, because I just want to make sure that everything is working correctly, that it's sent to you correctly, and that you receive it. It says thanks, we'll send confirmation. Nice. Thank you, Love, Dream, and Drone. So guys, I just joined. All right. Perfect. Everybody, congrats to Love, Dream, and Drone. I don't know if you're a he or a she, but congratulations to Love, Dream, and Drone. Thank you for everybody else for being here, for sticking with me this long, and for sticking around for the giveaway. We'll do another public live stream, hopefully next month, end of the month, like we usually do, and we'll hold another one. Maybe it'll be something better than just merch. But thank you, everybody, once again. Hopefully I helped you guys out. If I didn't get to your question, I'm sorry. But hit me up on Facebook. Hit me up on IG. I try my best to respond to everybody's questions there. Also on the YouTube channel, I try to respond to all the comments as best that I can. I'm out of here, guys. Peace.